guys, welcome back out to the channel. This year's flu has been a rough one, and the tenacity of it has been especially worrisome. But I'm really excited about this episode because in this episode, I'm going to share with you 5 foods that you can easily stock in your pantry to help you combat the flu. What makes these 5 food choices so unique is that I'm going to pick these based on Chinese nutritional therapy. This knowledge goes back thousands of years and shows you how to pick foods that can improve your health and expand your longevity. How do you pick foods to protect your health when dealing with the flu? Well, let's take a minute and look at Chinese medical theory. In Chinese medical theory, there are 2 ways the flu can enter your body. One is a heat invasion, and the second is a cold invasion. And I know you're not trying to be a Chinese medical provider. You just need some brief information to help you differentiate the 2. So this year's flu is predominantly a cold invasion. And so how does that differ from a heat invasion? Well, the first key way that it differs is it takes a long time for it to really sink into your body. In fact, here's what I hear this year. People say, oh, I have body aches, but I worked out yesterday. Oh, I have allergies and they're just getting worse. Oh, yeah, my itchy eyes, that's about allergies. Oh, I have a sore throat and it's dry, but that's because I was running the heat last night. The cold invasions, they come in really slow and people really discount what's happening. And when you contrast this to a heat invasion happens instantaneously. So I remember one year my husband and I were in the mall. We were walking from one end to the other, and there was a person in us coughing and sneezing. And since my husband gets sick at the drop of a hat, he was really upset that this person was out in the wild, snotting all over everybody. And sure enough, we were walking behind them. By the time we hit the other side of the mall, he was sick. And he could feel it. He could feel the fever coming on. He could feel him starting to cough. So cold invasions, first thing that's really different, they take a long time to set in, and people discount the symptoms and say that it's something else. Heat invasions, quick. They are instantaneous. So what is the second key way that you can differentiate a cold invasion from a heat invasion? Chills. With a cold invasion, you get chills and you could feel freezing. You could be under tons of blankets and have the heat up to 75 and you're still feeling chilled. So those are the 2 key ways that you can go, oh, I think I have a heat invasion, or oh, I think I have a cold invasion. What's important about this is Chinese nutritional therapy is based off of your pathology. So if you have a cold invasion, you're going to want to consume foods that help warm and lift and expel things. Other symptoms come with the flu. Your lungs may feel congested. Your digestion may be weak or sensitive. You might have a cough. Your throat might be dry and dusty. And these are just some of the symptoms which have been showing up with this year's influenza A. When you're feeling this, you're going to want to protect your body from the cold by using foods to push the cold back out of your body. And the best food that I've found for warming up the body is ginger. And the first time I ran across ginger used for its warming properties were in a little Asian supermarket where I ran across these bottles of ginger drink. In Chinese medicine, these small bottles of ginger drink are used for the elderly to help warm them up or, help reignite that internal heater. And this is our internal heater that has a tendency to fade as we age. The warming properties of ginger are not the only reason to choose ginger. Ginger helps remove toxins from the body. It's excellent for reducing nausea and helps strengthen the stomach and spleen. All of this makes ginger the first choice when selecting foods to combat the flu. Even though the flu is a cold invasion, sometimes what settles into the lungs feels more like a heat and congestion. If you're coughing up yellow or green sputum, or you have a dry cough, daikon is a huge white radish, and it is cool and helps break up and remove phlegm in the lungs. An excellent food to help moisten the lungs and can help relieve a sore throat. If you have to use too many drying decongestants and end up with a dry cough, daikon may alleviate that. Because this flu is a cold invasion, as it progresses in your body, there's going to be times when you can feel like you are freezing. And an excellent food to help remove this type of intense cold is going to be scallions. Scallions are hot and they're very activating. They're good at actively pushing the cold back out of the body and encouraging you to sweat. Another great food choice is going to be Chinese dates. They're also known as jujubes or datsao. And these little fruits can help with a weak digestion. And not only can these dates help rebuild your metabolism, but these dates also have a calming effect on your emotions and can help relieve irritability. Chinese dates can also help reduce a cough or reduce night sweats, and can help reduce fatigue or low energy that comes with the flu. And I especially like the temperature of these Chinese dates, which is neutral, making it easy to use these dates for a long time without worrying about this little fruit making you too hot or too warm. Chinese dates would probably be the toughest one for you to find. In some of your whole food stores, you can find these fresh every once in a while, but if you can't find them fresh, go to an Asian market. You can get these dry, you can order them online, and you can keep them forever. Okay, the fifth and final food that I'm going to look at is a spice, and it's cinnamon. Cinnamon is a wonderful spice. This spice is hot and it's pungent, and it's usually filled with memories of home, holiday, baking, and comfort. Cinnamon's hot nature makes it an excellent spice to help push the cold out of the body and warm up everything that feels cold. The pungent quality of the herb helps lift things up and out and encourages sweating. So body aches and pain from the flu can be warmed up and pushed out with this aromatic herb. There you have it. 5 foods that can combat the flu when there are sensations of cold that creeps in slowly over days. But I want to give you one more bonus food, because these 5 are great foods, but the flu can come with a cough that is difficult to eliminate. All the mucus that can accompany the flu means decongestants, and too many decongestants start to dry out the lungs and create a dry cough. So I want to give you one more food that helps alleviate that dry cough that can be so difficult to get rid of. Here's my bonus food: pears. I like pears due to their moistening nature. They are great at relieving a sore throat and helping reduce any cough. As your cough starts to change to dry cough, pears can be great at helping your throat and lungs recover from the dryness. This fruit is flexible. You can cook it or you can eat it raw. So there's the 5 foods plus a bonus food: ginger, daikon, scallions, Chinese dates or datsao or jujubes, cinnamon, and the bonus fruit, pears. Because this season's flu has a tendency to upset the stomach and leave you with a weak stomach, I like to take the 5. The ginger, the daikon, the scallions, the Chinese dates, and the cinnamon, and make a large pot of tea that I can drink throughout the day. Staying hydrated is going to be essential, and tea is one way to keep hydrated while supporting your immune system. To make the tea, I'm going to use a cast iron teapot. Chinese medicine likes cooking with cast iron or stainless steel, as these don't leach things into your foods like aluminum, and they can evenly distribute heat. The ginger, the daikon, the Chinese dates, and I'm going to use a few Chinese dates simply because they're dry, and cinnamon. I'm going to steep in the teapot for about a half hour. Because the ginger, daikon, and cinnamon are pungent, they are potent herbs and foods. And if you are using them fresh like I'm doing, they are mighty. You don't need a lot, and if you use too much, you can go from cold to hot and feel things like heartburn, drenching sweat, and exhaustion. So moderation's a key. You are going to use just a little bit of ginger, a little bit of daikon, a little bit of cinnamon, and again, because my Chinese dates are dried and the dates are such an excellent neutral food, I am throwing in a couple more of those. You might notice that I didn't add the scallions and I didn't add the pears, but I will add the scallions. And unlike the thick roots of ginger and daikon and the hard bark of cinnamon, scallions are flexible. They're much more delicate than the roots and branches. Because of their delicate nature, it's going to be easier to pull the nutrients out of the scallions. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop up some scallions, and I'm going to wait until the last 5 minutes, and then I'm going to put these in and let them simmer in the tea. Pears. These are grapefruits, and you're going to want to eat something even though you're not interested in food. I'm going to chop up some slices of pears and leave them on the side with my tea to give me something to nibble on while I'm lying around recovering and watching TV. You might remember from my previous video on the 10 foods you can eat to help rebuild your weak digestion and post-fatigue, that one of the ways you can cook things is by simmering them in water. And with this tea, you can boil it too, but I chose to simmer it because, again, simmering is not as aggressive as boiling. It adds moisture back into the foods. The cinnamon sticks are really dry, so adding moisture back into that is great. And it is mildly warming. So some of the spices that we're using are hot and pungent. And like I said previously, you get too much hot and too much pungent, and it might go a little bit sideways for you. You might end up with a horrible heartburn. You might end up with horrible sweats. So you want to keep this kind of mild and not cook it really aggressively to make these spices even hotter. Okay, a half hour, and in about 25 minutes, I'm going to add in those scallions and let them soak in there for the last 5 minutes. Okay, so it's time to add in the scallions, and you can see I'm really not adding in a lot. Again, these are really hot, so I'm just going to add in a few. And I'm going to let that simmer with the datsao, the ginger, the daikon, and the cinnamon, and it'll be done in about 5 minutes. There you have it, 5 key foods to combat the flu, plus a bonus food, pears. And there's one more thing about this flu. It loves the cold. The easiest way to enable this flu to sink back in and destroy all your hard work is to go outside in the cold without a jacket and scarf. If you've been outside and suddenly feel your throat has that dusty, scratchy feeling coming back in, you're too late. If you think you're feeling good enough to work outside, the weakness in your body will have you sweating quickly, encouraging you to remove your jacket. And if you do and leave it off too long, leave it off until you feel a chill, you'll be too late. Be very careful as you head outside. If you're still coughing, make sure you find a way to cover your neck and mouth so you're not breathing in cold air. If you're still feeling fatigued, be really careful about removing your coat. This flu acts like a Trojan virus on your computer. It misleads you about its real intent. You've been doing things outside and suddenly you're a hot, sweaty mess. And this is how it dupes you into removing your protective gear like a jacket and scarf. Now, at the mercy of the elements, it just has to wait for you to feel cold. And since you're busy, it's easy to miss when things have gone too far and you've gone from warm to cold, and the next day you are sicker. There you have it. 5 incredible foods plus a bonus feature to help you combat the flu. Okay guys, thanks for coming out to the channel. Make sure you wash your hands and stay safe, and together we'll get through this flu season. Until next time, I'll catch you on the other side.